Inspired Life, and I'm here with Colleen. Thank you, Colleen, for coming. And this is actually the first interview we're doing live because I usually do it online with my clients overseas. But Colleen is here in Paris, and so I'm so happy that we could do a live one. And so we are just gonna talk a little bit about our work together. And yeah, I'm so happy to share your story because you're like shining, and that's like super motivational for me as well, and I think it might inspire other people to also do something good about, like, for themselves, for their happiness. So we talked a lot before we started this video. Can you tell me a little bit when we met actually a while ago, but when we kind of started working together, what was your situation?
So I think we actually started working together last year officially, but
It's been like 6 months or so, 5?
About that.
It's even less, like, yeah.
Yeah, and we've known each other through yoga and kind of working for the same
We worked
company.
in the same studio, yeah.
Yeah. And then I'd see some of your posts, and I'd see some of your classes that you'd put up and whatnot. So, and I'd watch you, and I'd like your energy, and I'd like your sense of humor and your realness. And so I'd kind of dabble in what you were doing. And then there was a point where I was doing my own healing with, another coach, and I felt like I reached a plateau with it. I needed something stronger, I guess, and I
Enter Maya.
Enter Maya. Gentle but strong.
Gentle but strong.
Yeah, I actually
That should be like my motto. Like, gentle but strong. If you want like something. Yeah, but it is actually something that people told me before, like that it's not an aggressive kind of healing. It's very soothing and gentle and like comforting, but it makes a huge effect.
Yeah,
It's kind of transformational. Yeah,
and quick. And effective. And I got thinking back to where I was at a point, I think I was feeling quite desperate because I didn't know, I wanted so badly to heal, and
I just want to get it done.
I just wanted to do it and be effective. And so anyway, I had reached the point I could with my other healer. And I don't know, there was something in a video that you'd said, I think you'd probably said exactly that. You're quick, you're effective, you're gentle. And you were also talking about things that I hadn't heard before, the DNA activations, quantum leaping. And so I'm thinking, yeah, I need that. I want that, whatever all of that is.
Do you want to jump into a new reality? Call me.
I was on
Hit
board.
Me up.
On board. So... And you
That's interesting.
Gifted me. I won.
She won. It's really never was a setup, but I was so happy that you won a few things because I actually used the wheel to decide, and it's totally random because I don't want to participate. I just put the names in, and the wheel decides. So it's really up to the universe. So I was so happy that I was like, oh my God, it was you. That's so good.
So yeah. So I've just. I don't know what to say because a lot of it is so subtle. But we worked together in the fall time. Healing.
You did a few courses even.
Yeah. So. And looking back, I can see now where I'm a lot more grounded, and I feel happy. I feel stable with my situation and what I'm doing. And it's funny because looking back, it's quick but gradual but subtle. I can see the effects, and
that's what I love about it because you can actually see. And now when I'm thinking, oh my God, actually since we started to now, a lot of things changed. Like you've been to another continent and back, changed a few jobs.
That's normal for me.
But actually a lot of things shifted, and now you're like thriving.
And I think the motivation,
back, though.
the motivation. I've changed some jobs, but it's a more out of, I think, empowerment at this point, and not desperation and fear. Hopefully, but getting clear on dreams and goals, and
Yeah, because actually that's kind of interesting you say that, because I when I was thinking like what is my process, because when I was trying to break it down, and the first part is release, the second part is empowerment, then when you like work through all that stuff, you know, that's when you can actually start dreaming, and that's when we go into inspiration, design, and alignment, which is kind of what you naturally went through. Actually, it was like, okay, now that you kind of healed, and also healing takes a while. I mean, you definitely see results quite quickly, but a lot of changes are subtle and happen over time. I see people having results over weeks, several weeks, and even months to come, that things are still shifting. So it's really amazing, and then when you clear that, then you can start actually designing your life and stepping into it, because it's like a lot of people are asking, okay, I want to know what you want to have this perfect life, but you don't want to do the work. But like when you do the work, and then it's like you have to go through that part, you have to go through that phase, you have to work through all that, and then once you have that energy, when you're in a good place, that's when you start planning and designing. How do you want to live, where do you want to live, what is your reality, you are the co-creator, so how are you going to make it, and then moving forward.
And you have steps, and you mentioned this about yourself being the sun, Virgo, and so for you like to have practical steps, right? So a lot of this is belief and faith, and then but then also those steps, so it's doable, it feels tangible, and so I think like that you're able to reach many people who learn in different ways, or
I'm very flexible, very flexible about the approach, because there are different kinds of people, but I think I normally attract people who are quite open for DNA activations and stuff like this. But no, because everything I do is quite spiritual and very, like, I work with energy, so it's lots of energy work, but I do like to combine the energy, the mindset, and the practical, like actually like things that you can do.
Yeah, and that daily practice, spiritual and practical.
Definitely daily practice, I mean, so a combination of everything. So what was the best part? Like what was the biggest shift that you noticed? Like what did you appreciate the most, and what was the biggest shift that you noticed?
I think the biggest one that's made the most impact, I guess, it has been, I'm not so full of anxiety. So meaning that I notice I can be faced with situations, or even if I'm worried about some things a little bit, it's not debilitating. I know that there's a solution for things. So I don't know, there's been, because I know growing up, the way I grew up, in the household I grew up, in the family, everything's been, it's an emotional, anxious, uptight, things are viewed as a problem, not a solution. Does that make sense? So now
I'm laughing because it's familiar. I'm like, yes.
So so we learn to react to things, and it's such a big deal. And so I feel like more grounded, but I'm, even if there is an issue, I guess I have more trust and that confidence in myself that I can handle it. Right? That it's all good. You don't have to freak out. I don't have to, so.
I feel like that's like the thing that I oftentimes do, because I deal with, my coaching is quite transformational. And so I know, because I've been through so many transformational periods in my life, spiritual awakenings, that is really, it's really hard when you're going through it alone, and you really need someone to tell you like, it's fine, actually this is actually how it's supposed to happen, trust, and just someone who will just pull you back and be like, actually trust. And because once you start freaking out, if you start freaking out, then you're back out of alignment, and then you are then attracting more problems. So this is not going to help the situation. You really, it's hard, but it's so essential and so important to stay in the trust no matter what.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's tricky. Trust me, it gets also easier with time. When you go through like several of those, then you're like, okay, I know I have to, whatever. But yeah, deal with your emotions, and and we both come from yoga, so it was very easy for us to talk about some of the techniques, because I use a lot of breath work and pranayama and meditation to help you feel, to clear the energy, among other techniques. But the yoga is like definitely deeply engraved in my practice as well. So yeah.
I also like that you're accessible, because there's been a couple of times that I have texted you over a job, for example. It's like, oh no, or not, oh no, but do I take this one, or I've been offered this, but I'm feeling a bit like this. And then you're accessible where I can ask you that, and you come back and you're like, if it's meant to be, it'll be, right? Like, oh my God. And then that brings me down. But it's really great to know that just a moment of clarity, and that quick too, right? It's all good. If it's meant to be, the pieces will align.
Yeah.
And then for me, it's like, yeah, okay. Right.
Exactly. Because you need to sometimes hear that it's fine. I mean, sometimes, like, I can tap, it depends. Like, I'm not always that quick to respond. But I try to be, as much as I'm working on my boundaries, but I'm trying to be more, definitely to be there, because I know that like when people freak out, I understand, like, okay, now is the moment they need support. Because really, I mean, I've been through so many situations where I really didn't have that, so, and I was surrounded with people who didn't understand what I was going through, so it was even harder. And just, I understand how important it is, so that's why this is like a huge thing for me. Like, I really need to make sure that whoever I'm working with like feels that, so yeah, I'm glad you noticed.
This is that quick moment of like, oh yeah, cool, she's right, I got this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you got this. But yeah, I don't actually tell you what to do. I kind of tell you like, okay, just trust, or maybe like, how does this feel?
Right.
Tap into your...
Bring you back down.
Yeah. Yeah, because we can start freaking out, We're like, what about this? What about that? It was just like, okay, stop. Stop whatever you're doing and just calm down. Take a deep breath and, trust that the signs will be given to you. Because when you're in the, like, drama mode, you're actually not seeing... The signs are always there. You always get guidance. Like, you are always guided. And you're always supported. So when we get into the freaking out mode, then we don't see the guidance, and that's where you're missing the point, So you need to always, that's why we need to stay in alignment and just like, okay, feeling nice and calm. And if you feel like stressed out, just make sure that you're getting yourself back into that place, and then you can hear the guidance again. Yay! So it's really, yeah, it's really about that. So it's always good to be reminded of and be aware. I mean, it is a self-awareness practice.
Yeah. Practice.
Again, practice. I mean, there's no quick fix, There's things that can be shifted quite quickly, but it really, I think the biggest part is awareness.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that awareness, it's harder to do the work. And that is the practice. I think that's the practice for life, forever. I think what helped me stay present in the moment, because I awakened in like over 20 years ago, I became aware of all of that, like that we are part of something bigger, and that I'm always guided, and I started following the signs, and they always led me to the right place. So sometimes when things were really easy and people think, oh, you're lucky, and I'm like, I'm actually just listening to the guidance. I'm just like actually listening to, following the signs, listening to the guidance, and then acting upon it. I'm not doubting it. I'm not, like, I'm trusting, and that's why it works. So it's been like an ongoing thing that has been present in my life, which has just been proven correct so many times that I just have no reason to doubt it anymore. But that's, I think, once you, and a lot of people have awakened in the last few years, especially since Ascension. So it's just about keeping that awareness always present. That's why meditation. It's definitely a good one to a mindfulness, just being aware of the present moment. So I think we kind of covered it. Is there anything you wish to share if anyone is like wondering? I think we said a lot actually.
I mean,
message
I just,
for everyone out there watching on the
she's the real deal. She's the real deal. Spiritual and practical.
Spiritual badass.
She's
actually spiritual. This is for my mentor, by the way. Spiritual badass.
But even when you say that it takes time, actually looking back in the whole scheme of things and in life, 5 months is
nothing.
It's
Like,
so fast.
Magic.
Yeah, it's, I mean, really, if you really are serious about wanting to shift something, change something, it's got to be Maya. So
Yeah,
and it's on a deep level. Yeah, on a cellular level. I mean, really,
karmic level.
It's deep and it's real, and I'm
so
in
glad.
the happiest point I've been in my life.
God,
Yeah,
that's
it's no
amazing.
joke.
I'm so
I'm the happiest
happy.
I've been, I think, since I can remember.
No, because I remember when I was telling you, like, my work is really transformational, and I was like, I really hope this works. Because I mean, I really do believe it, but I was like, because I know you, and I really wanted you to, like, feel this.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, I need to really make sure she really, like, shifts. So
Yeah.
I'm so happy you're saying that.
Yeah,
It works.
fully.
Yes.
I'm walking down the streets of Paris with a stupid smile on my face all day because I'm happy. So
Yay,
yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah.
Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope this helps you, take that first step towards your happier you. You can be high vibing like us. Yeah, I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you, Colleen, for sharing your story.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for everything.
Welcome. Bye.